Ideas for connecting with teenagers when they don't want to engage.
Yeah, so
I need this answer. I'm going to bank this one. Go.
I've got a lot of teens. Like I've got teens where, so for example, I see a really distressed teenage girl who's going through a really hard time at the moment, and mum came in yesterday and was like, she's refusing to come in and see you. She's in the waiting room. Can you go out and talk to her? And I was like, no, I'm respecting her choice in that space. I don't want to go out and force her to talk to me. And I think with teenagers, what we do is we just put too much pressure in with them because we see them as adults. We're like, no, you're going to talk to me now. Like, you live in this house, you're grown up. Like, as kids get older, we're more and more vulnerable. We've got to remember, like, a lot of the higher functioning parts of their brain aren't fully formed till they're 25. And a lot of us, including me, didn't really figure out emotional regulation until my 30s. Teens are hypersensitive to judgment, rejection, peer rejection especially. They're trying to fit in. And so the trick is be really, really gentle. Like, there was a lot of people that sent in beautiful information about this that we couldn't use, about like just really subtle cues. So like little winks, little signals to say I'm here for you and stuff that doesn't risk them feeling socially isolated or embarrassed, going at their pace. And the teens, it's the long game. The teens, they just want to know and facilitate opportunities for connections with teens that are practical and around what their needs are. If they need to get around to places, if they're really into something, see if you can just gently explore their world with them and make it a bit easier for them to live practically and just wait for opportunities. But teens, you've got to be really careful you don't force conversations on them because you'll push them away. And I've seen kids that I have just hummed with really lose the connection. A beautiful girl that I was seeing yesterday, having this great conversation with her, and I was like, what are you into and stuff? And she was telling me all this really cool stuff. And then the mum was like, oh, tell Billy about video games. And she just completely shut down and didn't want to talk anymore to me. Didn't talk the rest of the session.
Because mum said...
the lead was taken off her. Do you know what I mean? Mum was doing this beautiful thing of being like, because I see her brother, so mum knows that her brother and I connect over video games, so she was trying to facilitate that. But she just had a voice in that room and it came away from her from a really good place, but just shut down. And she apologised in the room. Mum was like, I'm really sorry I stepped in, you were talking. But it was, almost impossible to get her back then. So, and it's okay. There's nothing harmful in that. We just let her give space and Mum and I spoke. And then the next time, hopefully I'll get a chance to talk with her, just her and I.
This whole situation, the sort of various ones you described, is probably my biggest blind spots, thing I stuff up. That whole they don't want to talk now. I know what you're saying, but I'm like, I know we're going to talk now, particularly on some things. And I'm like, no, we need to discuss this.
So what do you mean? Because I think I know, but what do you mean you have to talk about it?
I'm like, so I get this mix of like, you got to nip things in the bud because you can't talk about things later, right? So that's one teaching, right? Like you're addressing something 6 hours after you've been in the playground doesn't make sense, but I want to talk about it in the playground then because it's just happened, and they're like, I do not want to talk about this right now because maybe they're embarrassed or they're sad or they're just like, no, like this has just happened, I don't want to do it. And I'm like, no, I want to talk about it now. I don't know what to do. I find that so hard.
Yeah. So if they're dysregulated and you're not connecting with them, they're not going to learn anything.
No, but they're not that dysregulated. They're just like, no, we're not talking. I don't want to talk about it.
I mean, they probably are a little bit if they're
Sorry.
like that. No, it's not. No,
You're
I
right.
know what you mean. They're not fully blown.
They're not blown. They're not crying.
But they're like, I just want to ignore it and move on and keep playing. It's okay to ignore it. I think people worry and be like, no, they're not going to get better at like this.
Yeah.
Ideally what you do, perfect situation, is you connect with them, help them come back down to perfect calm, and then guide them back in to successfully do the thing. Talking to kids and saying you need to share that kid you pushed in front of them and all that stuff, that doesn't help them know how to do it better. That just risks them feeling shame about failing at something, especially socially or emotionally with their peers. What you need to do is connect with them and then guide them back in and be like, I'm going to help you really succeed at this and feel good about yourself in the thing that I intended you to do or really want you to get good at. Saying no to kids and putting emphasis on the bad thing they did doesn't help them at all. What we want to do is what would we expect of you that is developmentally appropriate and how do I help you achieve it? If you can't do that, it's fine as well. But the after conversation, there's so little gain in that besides helping kids feel connected, secure attachment, unconditional love. Think about the next time we come to the playground, I'm going to really set you up. We'll have narratives around a pretend play in our stories, and then I'm going to guide you in. I'm going to scaffold you with as much support as you need to succeed at the thing you struggled with last time, and then I'll celebrate it with you.
Yeah. I'm stuck on something. I reckon it's shame is what I'm doing.
Well,
not deliberately. Like I'm drawing attention to it. I've got to go back and listen to the shame episode.
But remember the difference between guilt and shame. Guilt is like,
5?
Parenting without shame. Remember the Titans. Yeah. Because that's what Denzel does. Shames Petey.
Shames Petey.
Yeah. So yeah, I won't.
Sorry,
there's a whole app on that stuff. I won't get caught in it.
This podcast is brought to you by Guiding Growing Minds, a social enterprise that aims to give all children the best opportunity to reach their potential and succeed in living rich and meaningful lives.